I opened a door looking for my wife. Instead, I found her sitting on her boss's lap, throwing 7 years of marriage away with a smirk.
The Christmas party was still roaring 3 floors below. I'd come upstairs looking for my wife, Sarah, hoping to surprise her. Instead, I found her on Marcus Whitfield's lap, her dress hiked up, her hands tangled in his silver hair. My voice cracked when I said her name. Sarah. She didn't even jump. She just turned her head, the city lights catching her perfect blonde hair, and said with an exhausted sigh, "Oh, you're still here, Donald," Marcus smirked. "Buddy, don't call me buddy." Sarah slid off him with deliberate slowness, adjusting her dress like she was bored, not caught cheating. "You see what you want to see?" she said coldly. "A devoted wife, a happy marriage? A man worth staying married to." I stared at her, stunned. "We've been married 7 years," she laughed. 7 years of you buried in spreadsheets while I built something real." Then Marcus chimed in. "She's been staying at my Hamptons place most weekends. Did you even notice? 8 months of lies. 8 months of client retreats and networking. It all hit me at once. The lingerie she'd never worn for me, the sudden late nights, the growing distance. Then she threw divorce papers at my feet. They were already signed. My marriage was over before I even walked into that room. But it got worse. Sarah and Marcus had orchestrated everything. The photo Marcus snapped of me standing in the doorway was their insurance proof for a prenup trap. Our agreement said that if there was evidence of adultery, the cheater forfeited all financial claims. They cheated, staged the scene, and framed me as the intrusive husband who found what he wanted. I couldn't touch a single cent of her rising Goldman Sachs wealth. I left the office numb. The subway ride home was silent. I walked into our apartment, now just my apartment, feeling like a ghost in someone else's life. Minutes later, Sarah's text arrived. "Keys on the counter. Don't contact me again," followed by another. "P.S. Check the laptop." I opened it, and I drowned hundreds of emails between her and Marcus. Trips, plans, photos from Paris, Aspen, Martha's Vineyard. And the worst part, their conversations about me. Screenshots of my texts, jokes about my clothes, mockery of my ordinary life. "Donald settled for mediocrity," she wrote once. I never did. I closed the laptop and just sat there in the dark. When I finally called my brother, he said something I didn't expect. "You're not a victim unless you choose to be." That stuck with me, so I made a decision. I signed the divorce papers, not out of defeat, but for freedom. The next weeks were a blur of therapy, pottery classes, hiking groups, and cooking lessons. I slowly rediscovered the apartment as my own space. I realized Sarah hadn't left me for Marcus. She left because she wanted a life I didn't want, and I wanted a life she couldn't stand. For the first time in years, I asked myself, what do I want? The answer surprised me. Stability, quiet, love without performance, ordinary happiness at work. Something shifted. I wasn't trying to prove anything to Sarah anymore. I was working for myself. My analysis of the Henderson account was the best work of my career. My boss noticed, clients noticed, the partners noticed. Soon there was talk of me leading a new division. Jennifer, a colleague who had known about Sarah, told me something I desperately needed to hear. "You're one of the good ones." "Donald." She introduced me to her cousin Emma, a graphic designer who loved hiking, laughed easily, and made lasagna that could end wars. Emma didn't think quiet meant boring. She didn't think ordinary meant mediocre. She thought I was enough. And for the first time, I believed it. 6 months after the divorce, I saw the headline, "Goldman Sachs manager arrested in insider trading scandal." There was a photo of Marcus in handcuffs and a smaller one of Sarah hiding her face. I didn't feel triumph. I felt closure. Emma found me reading the article. "Someone you know?" she asked. "My ex-wife's husband, I guess. You okay?" "I think so. I hope she's okay too," Emma smiled softly. "That's how I know you've healed." Sarah moved to London to start over. I genuinely wanted her to be happy, just somewhere far away from me. 2 years after the divorce, Emma and I were standing in our small Brooklyn garden, sunlight on the tomato plants, soil on our hands. She asked, "Do you regret anything?" "Only that it took 8 years to learn what we really wanted. We married in that same garden, simple, quiet, perfect. The kind of life Sarah would have hated, but it was the kind of life that finally felt like mine. Looking back, I realized the truth. Sarah didn't destroy me, she freed me. She tore down the life I'd built for her so I could build the life that was meant for me, ordinary, simple, real, and I wouldn't trade it for a penthouse, a promotion, or 1,000 glittering Manhattan nights. Sometimes the life you think is falling apart is actually the one being rebuilt. Thanks for watching.